Welcome to tutorial number 2, which is also the assessment task 2, the project for the draft contract. But now we're looking at point A1b, which is the statement of work, or also known as SOW, which pretty much outlines and refers to the KPIs, key performance indicators, from the draft contract, in particular the terms and conditions. So the statement of work summarizes all the expectations and responsibilities, in particular related to the supplier. Now, I have asked you before you watch this tutorial that you're watching this video, as you can see here on the screen, which is just around 4 minutes, which gives a very good explanation and overview of statement of work. Now I'm scrolling further down, so you'll see then the tutorial will be uploaded here for your perusal in order to stipulate this part now of your assignment. Now back to our LMS platform, which the draft contract of course sits here again. The same document we will open, which I have opened already, okay, which is the assessment task 2 from the project, looking at the draft contract. So last tutorial we looked at researching and finalizing and finding your template for the draft contract for the agreement for supply of goods, which by now you have, right, after our workshop. So everybody needs to have that now in order to move forward. So it is very important that you keep up with this kind of work, otherwise you will fall behind and it will become more and more difficult to catch up. Alright, so here now this is the statement of work, KPIs therefore, or the KPI settings, also known as the particulars. This has been agreed, so here the note is very important to see here. This has been agreed and negotiated, all right, between you, the hotel, and your chosen or selected supplier. Refer to the in-class learning activities, the speed negotiations we are having, or we had, or the negotiating aspects, the five-step approach to negotiations, and the KPI setting activity. Some of them maybe we have done already in class, and some are still to come, all right? So just please be aware that this is now based on the negotiations which you had with the particular supplier you have now selected in order to do your draft contract. So the terms and conditions in the template, who is the parties involved, and so forth, has now been established, negotiated, agreed upon. And now the statement of work is now really outlining the particulars, the KPIs of what needs to be done. All right? Okay. This is not the only part of the KPI setting. There will be as well the product specification, which will be the next tutorial. We will talk about that, and then we'll show you some examples, which then of course also becomes very important for the KPIs. Now, you must understand that the statement of work, the KPIs, the product specifications, and the terms and conditions will form the supplier performance management systems, or as we know, the scorecards. So we will evaluate accordingly to the statement of work, to the KPIs, according to their performance. This will be needed in order to complete and work on part B, which is the draft, which is the reports. The report, which is the contract review, right? So you must understand this is very important, that all the details you are stipulating and establishing now are needed in order to complete part B, which is the report contract review. All right, now stipulate and establish the agreed KPIs, particulars highlighted in yellow. So payment of invoice, payment milestones, all right? Or if it's not applicable, also not applicable. Invoices to pay by, all right? Payment schedules, all right? Delivery times, fees if it's involved. I also give you some examples here, all right? Payment schedules, site location, all right, for delivery of the goods or services. Of course, here we refer to the goods. So everything here now, which in the terms and conditions have been kind of general explained or discussed or agreed upon, now in the statement of work it really outlines very clearly what, when, who, and where. All right, so it becomes a very clear key performance indicator. The key personnel involved, the deliverables. All right, so I'll give you some examples here as well in yellow, as you can see here. For example, what are the minimum requirements, KPIs, or quality, cost, packaging, etc. How is this measured? Receiving log, financial reports, and so forth. Right, so you will also refer back then to the product specification, as I said, which we will talk about in the next tutorial. All right, so this is important. You're already thinking about that. So when it goes then to the actual products, you know, you can be very, very specific. The more specific, the more descriptive, the better for any kind of KPI. Right? Otherwise, you will give too many options for the supplier to basically to deliver or send you things or whatever, right? If you're not very specific, all right? And of course, this has been now negotiated and agreed upon. Tests, all right? For example, suppliers of eggs, you have like certain certifications that is salmonella free, or any other kind of test which needs to be done in accordance of legal requirements or what has been agreed upon. Warranty periods, service levels, we go further down here. Service credits, how is that handled if something is delivered incorrectly or wrong, or it has been thrown out because it was faulty or it was moldy. So what happened to it, and how we're going to manage that? What kind of credits we will receive for new goods to be replaced or reordered, or how we're going to handle the credits in order of payments? Or how many times can this happen? It's also a KPI. All right. So how many times you can send a supplier can send to us the wrong product before we have to have a serious conversation or reporting. Reports, as you can see here, this is very important. In all the terms and conditions, the KPIs and the reporting go hand in hand. So the big companies have like specific people who are assigned to that to report, have meetings, report KPI meetings with the supplier, with both parties, discuss what's happening, what is good, what is not so good, what needs to be readdressed, and who has to supply the report to who as part of the overall supplier performance management framework or approach. Required insurances, so this is kind of a standard, so there's nothing much you need to do here, but of course that's very important. Insurances in case of liability, indemnity, and of course vehicle suppliers always deliver with their vans or trucks. Workers' compensation, of course, is required by law. All right, that is very important from both sides to have if incidents or accidents happen on the premises. Special conditions, of course, that's something which is from the agreement, which needs to be implemented. So this is very important. You really look at that very carefully. All right, so we will have enough time in the workshop next session to go through that. Okay, it is important that before this tutorial, as I said in the beginning, you need to watch the video, all right, which I have shown you here. Just closing this one. Giving you first a brief overview of what the standard of work means, the SOW, and how this is also part, of course, of the overall draft contract, including that the statement of work are the particulars. All right, so this is tutorial 2, which looks at the statement of work, all right, KPI settings, particulars, and I will see you next week in our workshop, so you can work on that and complete this part of the assessment task. Thank you. Bye bye.